Hello again. Right, let's do the second video in this series about XSAF framework. I've changed my settings on OBS. I used my VR streaming settings last time, which is set to 960p. And when I uploaded it to YouTube, it wouldn't process past 720. So I'm not doing that video again. It's mostly just talking anyway. But hopefully should be a little bit clearer this time. Right. So in this video, I'm just going to concentrate on the configuration rather than going through the modules. So when the mission is called, when the script is called from the mission, as the mission loads, it calls this file only. And in the mission, let's just go back to the mission editor. There are a couple of options that you may or may not need to set in there if you want to or not. Flag, no. Yes. I wish that was bigger. So the local file, which you shouldn't really need to change, just references the master file and what it's called. It's looking for, first and foremost, the G drive Lua, which should be in your base install, which tells the rest of the code where it lives, so everything works. And then it's looking for phase number. So the phase number is important because that determines then which set of configuration options it's looking at. At this moment in time, I'm not quite finished with the code, only phase 1 is working at the minute because I've not applied the framework to the other MIS file. So you set 1 in there, it'll come through to here, filter through down here, and it's looking for phase number 1, and this is a set of options. So, quick overview on each of these modules. The net module is an extension of the server-side net API, which is not generally available to the scripting environment. The drone file is a drone module which allows for drone strikes to be called by players in-game. Currently not finished. The console module is my little module which allows you to run code live in a mission simply by saving this file. So this particular Lua, you can put any code you want in here. Generally I just use this for testing before I implement something properly. You would just write your code, save the file, and the hook that you should have installed, which is called JSP Gate, will look for the look for the change in the file attributes, and when it sees that there's a change because you've saved it, it will load it, just using load file, and execute whatever you've put, and then that will output into the log. I'll go through the details of the log on that in another video. I got Witchcraft. Obviously everybody should know what Witchcraft is, but that is a similar thing to JSP Gate, but it's within a browser window. This is good if you just want to execute something real quick and get a real quick return. The JSP Gate console is a little bit more in depth. You get more out of it, a bit more flexible. The per one is for persistence, so that's saving of the state. The DCS one is another server-side API extension into the server scripting environment, bringing the DCS module in, which is the one that controls server-side functions like pause, get players, and stuff like that. This is a utilities module. I don't think that's actually... I don't think I ever did anything with that. I might delete that. Sound module. I think there's only one in here. This basically just supports the voiceovers for the escort module. There are kind of other voiceovers in game. Like I said, I mentioned before, like 50-60 people have sort of come through XSAF Discord and played during the sort of 6 months of development, and some people have left the lasting impression, either with influencing the direction of the development, or giving ideas for missions or things like that, or some people have You know, military people have spent the time and made us some really great voiceovers, and some people who aren't military people who are just really good at voices have done some great voiceovers for some stupid stuff as well, for some quests. I'll get to that later, actually. You might be a bit weirded out. I'm calling it quests, but I'll explain why later. EWRS module in there, but I've turned it off. CTLD. Now this is the general community available CTLD. I have modified it somewhat as well with additional things I'll go through in another video. MWH is Moose Warehouse. I've written a wrapper around a wrapper. I'll get to that in another video. The quests one, which is turned off at the minute. The DCS warehouse. Now that's an interesting one. I can read and write from the DCS warehouse. Now I've spent a lot of time figuring out how to do that. At the moment, I can read the DCS warehouse, all the code is done for it, but I came up against a bit of a challenge when I applied it to my dedicated server. I can only do what I'm doing now on a server run with a GUI client. So you could do that in single player, and I will finish this module off. It's just that I got a bit distracted by other things when it wouldn't work on the Dedi. I know why it doesn't work on the Dedi, and I'm not quite resolved that issue yet. But then I got distracted with other things, and it's sad, so that's turned off at the moment. The event database is a very lightweight event database. I did write it to pick up the events and then pass them through to my functions, and whilst it is doing that on one event at the moment, which is the base capture, it was supposed to be for all the functions. It's very lightweight and it doesn't really take much CPU time. It sees the event, sees that we're tracking it, sends it to the place that it needs to be. No faffing around really. But at the minute it's only sending the event to the base capture manager, which is this one, which is turned on. Then we have another module which controls all the menus for coalition and players. Then we have a fairly comprehensive scoring and flight log system. So we'll track everyone's flight time and be completely and utterly persistent. It doesn't matter how long ago they flew or which mission that they flew. It is tracked and saved. Show you that here. Which is also tied in with a credit system. So you know, Walnut, for example, this is the seconds. It's flight time in seconds, and then there's other when this is brought back into the game, that's converted to hours and minutes. Then we have the main spawn management system, which controls all the definitions for all the spawn objects and all the dynamic management systems like the Red 4 AI. Then we have an optimization module, which was one of the original modules, which cut quite a lot of CPU time and gave me back quite a lot of overhead. It mainly concentrates on optimizing the CPU time of the SAMs, because I've got a hell of a lot of SAMs in my mission. Then we've got an Intel module which sits over the top of pretty much all of the data on the server and gives a really cool way of giving intelligence back to the players based on how much the coalition has done, which influences how verbose the intel is. And then we finally have the escort module, which allows for players in multiplayer, single player, and the AI to call up escorts that do different roles. Like I said, I'll go through that in another video. I really don't want these videos to go over 10 minutes, so I will stop this one here. In the next video I will go through the configuration of the mission itself, because I think that'll take a little bit longer. Thank you.